Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Also the channel that was created by a retail investor for retail investors and home to the best MJ community. It is Monday, September 30th. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. In this video, we're going to be discussing the news of the day. We had tons of MJ stocks popping off, tons of upside. CGC was up double digits at one point, and that came off of the back of Kamala Harris saying we need to legalize MJ. And this is right on cue. I've been saying for many, many months now that we're probably going to see some choppy sideways action, maybe a little bit more downside into October. And then into October, we should start to see MJ kind of take, the spotlight and become a big political issue as well. We know there's a lot of swing states that are basically up in the air, and a lot of them are in favor of MJ legalization. So that could be what really tilts the election. And again, I'm not trying to get political. I don't care who wins. I just want what's best for MJ and who's going to get reform across the finish line. So we'd love to see it, though. At the end of the day, people will get what they want. It's just a matter of when, not if. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. You can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So here was the article reported by MJ Moment. Kamala Harris says we need to legalize MJ for the first time as a Democratic presidential nominee. And I don't think this should come in as any surprise to anybody. She's been very pro MJ. She said that at a roundtable months ago, basically that nobody should be in jail for smoking MJ. But here was the commentary and the details today. Vice President Kamala Harris says it's time to legalize MJ, marking the first time she has publicly discussed her position on MJ since becoming the Democratic presidential nominee. And there was a lot of confusion. People were frustrated that it wasn't listed in the issues on the campaign site. At the end of the day, like I said, they're going to wait till as close to the elections as possible. They were focusing on crypto, which I think will still kind of take the reins, at least here in the very short term. In the micro term. And then, like I said, I think mid-October, as close to the election as possible, they'll come out with some pro-crypto stance. They'll continue to reiterate their policies on crypto and blockchain. And then, like I said, right in the 11th hour, I think they're going to really start to pump MJ, because then if we get bipartisan support of crypto on both sides and then bipartisan on MJ on both sides, then it's going to be who's going to be the best, right, for each sector. And specifically to MJ, since this is an MJ video, imagine if they both are on board with, rescheduling and seeing some sort of banking and reform, then maybe one might try to one up the other and say that we're going to full blown legalize it. So we'll see what happens. I think we're going to be in for some fireworks here. So enjoy the show here as we lead into the elections. Only 35 days away. I just feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking MJ, she said in an interview with All the Smoke podcast that was released on Monday. And we know historically that what that has meant has gone to jail, and who has gone to jail. Second, I would like to think we have come to a point where we have to understand that we need to legalize it and stop criminalizing this behavior, Harris told hosts Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, who are former NBA players. Actually, this is not a new position for me, Harris said, who sponsored a federal MJ legalization bill as a U.S. senator. I have felt for a long time we need to legalize it, so that's where I am on that. Until now, Harris has not made her position on MJ part of her current campaign for the White House. And then it just talks about some other, her running mate and, basically the other side of the aisle, where their stance is on it. And then this news came out. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the Democratic vice presidential nominee, said in a recent interview that legalizing MJ is a states' right issue. And this kind of falls in line with the other side of the aisle, their kind of stance on it, right? So we know that they're very much pro-state. Trump and Vance, they're very much leaving it up to the states to decide. And Trump even said, as more and more states start to legalize, he becomes more and more of a believer that people shouldn't be going to jail, and he doesn't like seeing people in jail. So they're kind of both on the same level playing field right now, and now we're going to see if somebody can one up each other, right? If we can, they're both basically pro and leaving it to the states. And then with this news today, with Kamala Harris saying we need to legalize it, maybe they start to pump full-blown descheduling and legalization at the federal level. That would absolutely send this sector into another bull market potentially, right? We know we've been in a 4-year bear market, and the only thing that's really going to move is some sort of major catalyst, right? And it could be rescheduling. We know rescheduling hearing is scheduled for December 2nd. And then it's probably going to be a 2025 issue where we see rescheduling. But we could potentially see, bills. There's the CAOA, there's the MORE Act, States Act. And then, with regards to the election, if they start to pump full-blown legalization and descheduling, you never know how far it can go. We might even bypass rescheduling altogether. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but it could happen. So we need to be prepared for all scenarios. We need to be prepared for rescheduling, full-blown descheduling and legalization at the federal level, or, be prepared for things to just status quo, to stay the same for the next year or two. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but we need to have a plan for all, right? All scenarios. JD Vance says that MJ legalization opposition is a notable vulnerability, and that was leaked in a Trump campaign memo. So again, things are starting to heat up, and it's looking like the next few weeks is going to get super interesting. And some of the charts are really starting to look like we could see some massive upside in the sector. And I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is October 1st. I made a video on this, save the date. It's going to be a leadership summit here in Canada next to Parliament Hill. And it's going to be discussing industry challenges. And some of the things they're going to be discussing is excise tax. They're going to be discussing limits and whatnot, like upping it from 10 milligram to 100 milligram per pack. So we're going to see some massive changes here. And I think, again, it's not a coincidence. We're probably going to see improvements to excise taxes here in Canada around the same time that we get rescheduling and the removal of 280E. So again, I'm thinking it's a 2025 issue, probably going to be in the back half of 2025. But I just posted a video as well on Tilray. They're going to be coming out with their earnings. It's going to be next week on the 10th, so on Thursday. If you haven't seen that video, just go over here. That's the one I just posted, an earnings prep video. So we'll see if we can get some positive earnings. And then, Germany fast tracking pillar 2. I think Florida's going to pass. We're probably going to see some sort of banking in a lame duck session. If not, at some point in 2025, we could see a safe harbor and uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. There's so many things, the rescheduling, the elections coming up. There's so many things that could send this sector parabolic and knock us out of this 4-year brutal bear market. But one thing is for sure, we're not going to be in a bear market forever. We're going to, the tides are going to turn, right? We're going to go back into a bull market, and the next one could actually be the bull market of all bull markets, right? We could see the biggest upside potential. If we get look what happened in February 2021 when all those MJ stocks went to 52-week highs and most went to new all-time highs, mostly US MJ. That was just on the hopes of US legalizing. So just imagine what's going to happen when we actually see meaningful reform, right? Like these stocks are going to absolutely skyrocket. So again, we need to be prepared, have cash on the sidelines in case we continue to dip, be diversified, not just in MJ, but outside of MJ as well. Have multiple different MJ stocks. You're not just all in on, one stock or one sector, right? That helps with, kind of managing and taming your emotions. But also, if you got cash on the sidelines, you can continue to buy the dip. So if they do delay any kind of reform, if it's 6 months to a year, 2 years plus, who cares, right? At the end of the day, have a plan for all scenarios and, change your mindset. It's only ever going to happen once. The more time we have to accumulate, the more we have time to pack our bags and back up the truck, so to speak. It's just going to be that much more fruitful in the future, right? So change your mindset. This is only going to happen once. And, there's going to be so many people that are envious that we even got to live through this monumental time. So make sure to take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity. Things are heating up in a big way, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. All right, going into it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know what you think of this news. We'll continue the conversation in the comment section below. All right, have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next video.